Good evening, Bears fans. It's a Victory Wednesday on the Halas Report. Happy to see everyone here. With me tonight, we got Bear Down Mike. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening.
And we've got, even though he's sick as a dog with COVID, he looks sick as a dog with COVID. It's Woody.
Yeah.
Good evening, Woody.
Hey, I'm glad for your support, everybody. Let's get ready to rumble.
And of course, we got Mike the Bear fan working the producing. He'll be on with us shortly. So, guys, we got a win Sunday. I mean, we're doubled the win total from last year. So I don't want to be too overly excited because we got a win. But hey, we're at 6 wins right now. Believe it or not, we're in the hunt, which we'll get to later about the playoffs. Things are looking good there, Woody, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we played. I like the way we played. Our defense is just tearing it up. I mean, do we thank Flus? I mean, TJ Edwards is clearly our defensive player, probably of the year. TJ Edwards, great linebacker pickup. Our offense. I like the way Fields was moving it around, of course, and we pulled out that victory. I mean, it was a victory we should have had. That's the other way I look at it, is that we should have had that win. It was the Cardinals. And we'll see about Atlanta this week. It's going to be a little bit tougher game.
Yeah, Mike, what were your thoughts on the game? Bear down, Mike.
He's at Walmart.
I felt like we got conservative again in the second half. We only scored 6 points. We should have put 40 up on these guys. But Komet being out and DJ Moore was injured, there was throws that just the one to Herbert in the end zone, that was a pick.
Ooh. Why?
When he had
how tall is Herbert? Do you really throw a fade?
What?
You really throw a fade?
The ball was thrown. It was a good-looking ball, but it was thrown short.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty good pass.
Justin said that he should have thrown a dart instead of putting air underneath of it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He looked the pass like, ooh, that's a pretty pass, but it fell short.
Yeah.
He underthrew it a little bit.
Well, when you think about it, besides those 2 Hail Marys, Justin hasn't thrown a pick in a while.
Yeah.
No.
Not that he didn't come close.
Ooh. But was it close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Other than that, the running game, I'm glad we stuck with it. Herbert had a huge game. Got his first touchdown in the season.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
That was, but then you figure injury time, Foreman came up, so it made some sense.
What happened?
We kept the defense did great, even though we didn't get a turnovers. So it was just a solid game. That's it.
I say Cody Whitehair, he played pretty damn good.
I mean, he's always been the super sub guy for this team the last couple of years. I mean, he played. I agree, Woody. He played really good. He had a solid game. Justin had a solid game overall. The interception wasn't pretty, but I mean, otherwise he had a solid game with still some terrible play calling. This offense, I think, it still looked anemic because, how many throws did he really have in the game? I mean, it didn't seem like that many of consequence.
He threw for 27 times.
How about that fourth down? That fourth down also.
Well, what I was impressed with, it didn't happen all year. Herbert, or at least one back, actually got 20 carries. That's got to be a season high for any back of the Bears. And
where's he from?
I've been waiting for that.
Where's he from? Virginia Tech, and congratulations, Virginia Tech beating up Tulane today. Congratulations, the Hokies.
That's a nice stat. But what was also nice to see, I was going to mention this, was Roshan actually carried the ball really well when he touched it.
9 for 37, 4.1.
The Bears are in a nice situation in the running back room if we re-sign Foreman, if we have
Yep.
all three of
We
them
have to.
back next year, I think we're
We
damn
have to.
solid. It was nice to have Herbert, and that's not the only place we're solid right now. I mean,
Just St. Louis.
right?
Yeah, it's my stud of the game, Mercedes Lewis.
I
Congrats,
mean-
buddy. That rest helped you out.
Well, not to mention the other tight end by halftime. Hopefully he's okay, but he had 107 yards.
Yeah. Cole Kmet had more offense in the first half than all of Arizona. But the thing I like about Mercedes Lewis is this. Yeah, the guy's 39. Fine. He's going to be 40 next year. Okay, great. He can still do it. And the mentorship he brings to that room, his blocking and everything else he does, would anyone here be opposed to signing him for another year for another $1 million?
No, I'm good with it. He's a good blocker. We view him as the number one, like you said. We got Kmet, so paid him good, and he's been doing great.
I don't think he's planning on retiring. Tunyon has still got another year left on his deal. I mean, he's another guy you can bring back on the cheap to fill out the roster too, and he helps with the young kids.
I mean, that touchdown he dropped last week, I would bench him the rest of the fucking year, Tunyon. Oh my God! Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that
Tunyon,
was
I think, is a guy
and everything.
My God.
I think Tunyon's a guy that you bring to camp, and if you don't see what you like, maybe you keep a rookie or something like that.
And it's great. It's great. It's crazy because when Tunyon played for the Packers, he killed us all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
But
because LaFleur knew how to use him. Getsy doesn't know how to use people.
I mean, that's what I was going to say, Mike. I think part of the problem is but Getsy had him there, but yeah, I think Getsy's scheme is just.
Well, Getsy wasn't calling plays in Green Bay.
I mean,
he was.
Look how long it's taken him to get Kmet. Kmet hasn't really been involved. Didn't really get involved heavily until week 8, week 9. I mean, I think it goes to the scheme again. But Mercedes Lewis to me is an easy re-sign at $1 million or so next year. He was another positive spot. Another positive spot is Kyler Gordon. His PFF is a 90.3 right now, and he's been tearing it up the last couple of weeks with tackles. He had more tackles in one game than most guys get in 2 or 3. So, I mean, if you have him on your fantasy team, if you're in one of those leagues, he's been a stud for you. But, this is a guy that Poles drafted. We've all been high on him since he got here. He's been doing well. Jalen Johnson, an average grade of 91. I mean, this secondary is just ridiculous for the Bears.
Minus Eddie Jackson.
But did you see he's leading in 2 categories in the cornerback spot? The passer rating allowed 31.6.
Yep.
We should have paid him. Cole should have paid him earlier.
I think he's still gonna. He's still still same price.
Yeah, I don't think the price changed much, honestly.
Because he's been a stud all year, regardless.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way we let him get the free agency. Eddie Jackson didn't have a terrible game. He didn't have a bad game. I mean,
Bill, yeah, all right.
We haven't seen ball hawk Eddie Jackson that we saw on the contract here. I think that's the problem. He's been pretty solid overall. He doesn't miss assignments. He's serviceable, but we're not seeing the explosive plays he made a couple years back.
He misses assignments. He does a lot of shoving instead of tackling. When what's his name? James Conner came around, he just shoved him.
Yeah,
still scored
touchdowns. He broke his ankles. Ankles were broken.
I'm just impressed with the defense because the Cardinals the week before rushed all over San Fran with 234 yards, and we only gave up 93 yards on Sunday. So and we had 250 yards rushing on Sunday, our offense. So,
and when we go into Atlanta, Atlanta's big on the rush with Bijan. So I'm not really worried about Bijan. But I mean, our run defense is that good right now. I'm not even gonna be worried. Right. Sunday, I agree. Our defense has been.
And Algiers ain't bad runner either.
Yeah.
But we're going against Heineke, so.
Fields is a bust.
Okay, Sean, we got something for you in the show.
Spell his name right. Spell his name right.
Yeah.
Spell his name right. Maybe it'll work.
So Cole Kmet, before he got hurt, also over a 90. I think he's been worth the money for doing some PFF grading here. He's been worth the extension. Here's something that's interesting. Speaking of Mr. Justin Fields, that's an interesting stat. So in only 9 games, he's got 4 with over 200 yards passing and 50 rush yards. Him and Lamar are the only 2 that get these kinds of numbers. And I would, and with the lack of downfield passing that Justin gets, right? Because, I mean, if you look at this, that's how many over 20 yards does he actually get to throw these days? And when we do see him go over 20, they're nice balls usually. He's having to rely on 5-yard, 10-yard tops passing, and he's still putting up good numbers. And we haven't really opened up the offense like we should. So, I mean, when someone says Fields is a bust, I think this next one – oh, no, we're back to defense. But just going back to this, that just makes another case at why Justin is actually the guy we should keep, doesn't it?
Do you know what people are thinking, though, Ken, when they see this? Lamar Jackson has a lot more set rushing plays than Justin Fields does, and Justin Fields is rushing for his life most plays.
Yeah, but I mean,
guarantee that's what you're.
So let's go with that though. Bear down, Mike. Let's say that's the premise. Is it because the O-line isn't holding, or because the scheme sucks and receivers aren't open?
Scheme sucks. I'm gonna go with that.
Yep.
The O-line's been pretty good. There's times they get blown, but I mean, I remember that 3rd down in the against Detroit, and Hawkinson had 2 shots at Justin and missed them. Justin's the best escape artist at the QB position in the league right now. But the scheme, guys are not getting open. That's where your playmakers come in. The only person getting open is DJ Moore. I mean, even against the Cardinals, we saw some of those passes that were just tough. The one to Cole Kmet on the left side, and DJ too. They're both being covered. You don't know if Mooney's going to catch the ball or not. Or same with Tyler Scott. Is he going to catch it or he's going to get it stripped? Guys are not coming open.
Yeah, and I think with a couple of the receivers, and you mentioned Scott, like my son loves Scott, but he hasn't proven to be a reliable receiver yet.
Yeah, rookie. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, he's a rookie.
I mean, it's like I'm surprised Mike, the Bear fan, has not posted here a GIF for an overlay here for Caleb Williams becoming a Bear. I mean, we should be like every other content creator on the sun and say that, but I mean,
I'm going to get grouchy.
There's plenty of time for that, Ken, but
there's more content creators I watch that are for Justin rather than Caleb.
No,
there's only 3 I know don't want.
You know what pisses me off though is that I seen a headline I think it was a couple days ago that Eberflus said that he wasn't sure who the starting quarterback next year will be. But I'm thinking in the back of my head, Eberflus, you're lucky that your defense is doing good, or you ain't going to be in fucking Chicago next year either. So
and he still may not be.
Well, come on, the Tomlin rumors are dead now because Pittsburgh even said, dream on, we're not trading him. He's not going anywhere. I mean, look at some of the content creators out there. I won't say all, but some, they have to have something to get clicks. And that was a good clickbait for 2 weeks. Caleb Williams is a great clickbait for these guys for 7-8 weeks. Ever since week 3, really. I mean, but come on, when are we going to start getting real? I mean, look, I can understand Eberflus saying that if Poles is thinking about trading the number 1, right? You want to create, we might go, like if you're New England at number 2 and you want Caleb Williams, are you going to give the Bears a haul to flip from 2 to 1 for Caleb Williams if you know they were never going to draft him in the first place?
Well, here's the thing. Maybe he's talking to McCaskey. Maybe Virginia's time to go, and then Caleb Williams will take her spot over and own half the team. That's what he wants.
No,
I mean, maybe.
Never gonna happen.
I mean, so I get though, like Eberflus giving an answer though for some gamesmanship for maybe helping Poles flip a pick. But do any of us believe that Fields is not QB1 week 1 of next year?
I'm not going to say there's any doubt. I mean, we don't know for sure what Poles is
Right
thinking.
now, I believe that he will be our starter week 1 next season.
I'm not gonna lie, I have my doubts, because against Arizona, they're the worst against the pass. He should have thrown 300 yards easily against
but I
that
mean,
team.
if when you have an OC whose idea of throwing the ball is negative yard throws, and then hope for yak, which we're great at yak.
Well,
Yeah, we were worse in the league last season.
Well,
I mean, but could you imagine though if we were like, what's great, you improved at yak, but your passing numbers still suck. Why? Because you're not putting the ball 5, 10, 15, 20 yards and spraying the field. Everything's going negative 3 yards and hoping that DJ can break a tackle. But could you imagine if we're putting it 15 yards downfield and now he breaks 2 tackles? Now we're talking touchdowns.
How about we actually throw in the middle of the field instead of outside the numbers all the time?
Well, I'm thinking too. If our rushing game didn't have 250 yards, maybe he might have had more passing yards. Our rushing game was working, and they stuck with it. Bears don't do that. They go
here's the
away
thing.
from what's working.
Here's the thing: if we won those 3 games, would they still be saying the same thing about Justin? No.
Well, wait a minute.
No.
Yeah. There's a
If we were
national
9-6 and we won those 3 games, they would be like, Justin is playing MVP, like,
It's
without
national
getting
sports
injured.
media that has an instant bias against anything Chicago always. Because
Yeah.
in 18, they were talking trash about the Bears when we won the division. Like we were a 4th place team, but we won the division. We won 13 games. And there's a bias towards Chicago, Midwest teams, or there's a bias between, because look at the Lions are getting some of that now, right? That because they're not like, unless you're the Packers, you're going to get hated on regardless. Because look at the Packers out of the last 10, won 6 or 7 of them. Okay, so they don't get the hate, but if the Lions or the Vikings or the Bears play well, Goff is still garbage. He's trash. He shouldn't even be in the league next year, because there's that bias against these teams by the media, and I get it. And look, we don't help it. Like, look how bad some of the media in Chicago trash talks our quarterbacks, no matter how good they're doing.
Yeah, but last week they actually ran. Do you know how many times they actually ran the ball? 39.
Well, no, I agree with Woody on that. They stuck with it, which is actually says more about Justin Fields too, because he did exactly what he needed to do to win the game. He didn't try to force it.
Right. I mean, he had 27 attempts, only threw for 170, but he also ran for 97.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have had more, but that penalty called back.
Yeah.
That bullshit holding on Patrick.
The interception, I mean, look, it was a pretty looking ball that was thrown short. He even said he should have put more zip on it. It wasn't a terrible idea. It wasn't the best idea, but it wasn't terrible given that they were probably thinking we were going to run. And actually, they made a good play on it, because I think a lot of defenses would let Herbert go free because of the way that he came off the block. So, I mean, it was a little bit of a timing play too. So there's all kinds of elements to it. But I'm not going to really say, oh, my God, Fields is terrible because he threw that. It wasn't
that play should have never been called. It was the 4th quarter, 1st and 10. We were running the hell out of the ball. Why would we just keep doing that?
Well, that's why they did it, though, to kind of give a different look, because they figured. And look at Getsy, for all the bad play calls he makes, he actually made a good call that didn't execute, because you would have, like what you just said, they're going to expect him to run. So you throw a wrinkle and throw the ball, and you still got 2nd, 3rd down to run if it's incomplete. Yeah. It just wasn't executed probably as well as we would have liked, but also the coverage didn't bite fully and stayed with Herbert, because I think the idea with that play was that they would bite on the run, because look at Justin is really efficient at selling the run now, isn't he? If you watch these plays, he is really good at selling the run, but the defense didn't fully bite, and they stuck with Herbert, and then came up with the pick. It wasn't a terrible idea. It was actually a pretty decent idea. But had it executed the defense bit, we'd be singing the praises right now.
Well, I know Justin was saying that, it was a questionable call to throw that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
get
brought
that though
up.
too. Well, I get that
A
too.
lot of
Once the
offensive
OC
players
called
were like,
it,
I don't know if I would have thrown it. I would just keep running and do bootleg. They did that, and what happened? The DB came up on Justin. Boom, Mercedes Lewis wide open. Like,
I mean, yeah, I don't look. I think there's a part of me though, of like, look, they all want Getsy gone as bad as we do, right?
yeah,
But
because
they
what
can't.
happened after that interception? They scored
They scored. They went
off
on a
that
long drive. Yeah,
interception.
momentum shift.
Yeah,
Well,
that's our problem.
I mean,
Their problem is they can't close out games when they're supposed to. They get
I don't
conservative.
disagree with the idea. Maybe I can agree with that personnel, the way they executed that play call with it being a short running back and a defense, and then not executing a plan B when the defender didn't bite. I can agree with that. But I think in principle, the idea when you've been running and running and running and running, and you're figuring they're gonna expect you to run to throw a little wrinkle like a pass. I think it would have been better if it had been DJ Moore and been more of a corner ball than what had happened. Does that make? I mean, that would make it a better play.
Yeah.
So I mean, I agree with you, but I'm not against the idea of it being a passing down that time because it makes a little bit of sense. But well, look, we win the game, fellas. Let's do some studs and duds real quick. Woody, you're sick, drinking your pop over there. Who's your stud and who's your dud?
I don't know. I'm trying to pick a dud, but I'm not going to pick a dud. But I have a tie with studs. Mercedes Lewis, congrats. That rest just worked out, and that's what we needed from you. And our punter with a 70-yard punt.
Holy shit. Yeah, there you go.
I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And
where has this guy been?
What the hell has that been?
He has the lowest net at like 37 yards.
Yeah.
70-yard punt. He netted for 56 yards. So I was like, wow.
And all his punts were good. It's like, I was thinking, watching the game after the 75-yard and the next one's like 50-some yards. The one after that was like 60-something. I'm like, did something just click at practice this week? Where has this guy been all year?
Right. He averaged for 52 yards per punt, 2 inside the 20.
Almost doubling his average. That's ridiculous.
But he was
Mike,
pretty good last year.
I'm gonna throw this out of my asshole right now. TJ Edwards, you didn't lead the tackles. You only had 6. So I'm gonna say you're my dud of the game.
Well, the top tackle
okay.
at 7. So I mean, hey,
Mike, do we ask you or do we ask
no,
me?
but we'll move this. My studs and duds. My stud, he took the punter, which was kind of good. That was nice. But, I mean, I got to give it to Herbert. They let him run the ball. He ran for over 100. So my stud is Herbert. And this week, for the first time ever, I don't have a dud. I don't think anybody played bad, personally.
Okay, bear down, Mike. Studs and duds.
My stud is going to be our fullback, Kari Blasingame. He led some blocks that made some big runs.
You know what's
That
interesting
QB
about
sneak
Blasingame?
with Justin to the left, man, he blew that DB back. He blew him up.
And Mike, you know what's great about your stud pick there too is, like, the commentators of the game were like, they could not stop talking about him. There he is again. There he is. I mean, they could not. And he's been consistent all year.
Yeah, when Kari's in the game, he's really good at blocking. I don't why we could utilize him a lot more. We've seen him catch passes. I like to see something drawn up for him.
Who's your dud? You got one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Eddie Jackson, like I mentioned earlier. He missing a tackle, just shoving people. That's what I'm going with.
Well, that's every game.
Yeah,
In
it is
a
pissing
couple-
me off every time I watch him.
Couple weeks, he might not see him in a Bear uniform again. So might be the last time, week 18.
Championship.
My dud, God, it's hard to have a dud. I want to go with the OC again, but I just defended one of his play calls a few seconds ago, so I guess that would be a good look for me. My dud this week. Jonathan Vildor. Oh, wait, not a Bear. Can't do that one yet.
Vildor,
That one
holy
either.
shit,
He
dude.
was a dud in his
Wow.
game. Vildor was a dud in his game as well. But, you know what? I really don't have a dud. I mean, Eddie Jackson would be as close as I get. Now, my stud, fresh off a fresh contract? Come on.
Jesus. He was only 2 for 2, you fucker.
He's still my
Come on.
stud just because he's Santos.
Jesus.
I mean,
It's
you
not
guys
like he won
took
the
everyone
game.
else, so I got to give him some love.
Oh,
So in the comments,
shit.
folks, let us know who your studs and duds are. We'll post them up. I'm going to roll with Santos because everyone else took everyone else. But, I mean, look, it gets the big extension, proves why he's worth the money. Right?
I'm surprised somebody said Cole Kmet.
Right. Well, no, he's been playing pretty good all year, but yeah, he had 4 catches, 107 yards, but he only played a half.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments who your studs and duds from this week are, and we'll get ready to start talking a little bit about next week. And,
Yeah.
can't believe
Well,
I'm about
before
to
we
show
do that, I got one question. What you guys think? I was actually looking on the interior linemen on what they've done from this year and last year. The person that's actually been doing better this year than last year is Justin Jones.
Yep.
He's got 46 tackles, 27 of them are solo, and actually 4.5 sacks. So acquiring Yannick, which didn't really do much for us all year, but even Sweat, you know what I mean? He's actually stepped his game up from the previous year.
It's a Tez effect.
The interior in general, I mean, even the rookie, Gervin has been playing really good. Yeah, Gervin Dexter is playing really good. But I mean, you know what? Yannick being out, yeah. Okay. Good one there, Butters. I don't.
Did they say the Hall of Famer since we seen that comment? They said it at 7, right?
I think so.
So he's actually going in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, they were announcing it literally tonight. I don't know who was.
I don't know if it's been announced yet. I know he's in the bracket. Mike, why don't you check the good old Bleach Report and stuff real quick while before I lose that thought there I was having. Oh yeah. So the interior line of defense has been doing great, but I think what we saw now with Yannick being out, Sweat, while he's still been impressive, it hasn't been as good. So they could make an argument for why Yannick could get re-signed after the broken ankle, right? If he's able to play next year. So I think, Yannick by himself, he was okay. He was putting a little bit of pressure on, but then him with Sweat was a good combo. And we're seeing now how Sweat without Yannick, while still very impressive, is a little lessened. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I might check for Devin Hector. I got to put this up. You ready for the homer moment? Here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
There's a chance, boys. There's a better chance on Eberflus losing 3 games leading by 14, but hey, who's talking about that? That was only a .003, so possible.
So, okay, well, look at this. Can the Bears beat the Falcons? Well, yeah. Can the Giants beat the Rams? Well, it depends which Giants team shows up. Depends which Rams teams pick up. So, yeah. Can the Vikings beat the Packers? That's going to be a tough question.
Well, that one could go either way. I think that one, I did the New York Post playoff scenarios. That one can go either way, but the Steelers beat Seahawks, that's the big one.
That's the one that makes me go, it's like, And then we go to week 18. Can we beat the Packers? Well, yeah, we have the ability to do so. Well, the Lions.
That's our playoff right there, just beating them.
Yeah, they can. And the Niners could beat the Rams. So really, when you look at this scenario, as scarily homeristic as it could be, really the only game that makes you take pause and go, I don't know if this could happen, would be the Steelers beating the Seahawks.
Yeah, we need the Rams to lose too.
But, I mean, the Giants beating the Rams, I think, is possible.
Yeah.
We
need Rams and Seahawks to lose out.
Yeah, the Seahawks have to lose out, basically. and the Rams. The Rams have to lose out. The Seahawks have to lose out. Well, basically, this is what it comes down to. The Packers. Well, the Seahawks don't have to lose out, but it goes with matchups. But I mean, the Rams have to lose out, and the Packers need to lose out. I mean, but looking at this, yeah, I guess it could happen.
We got a 1% chance.
If it does happen, and we've seen weird things happen in this league before, obviously, I think that might change the Justin Fields narrative as far as the draft. Even with the clickbaiters. But does it really change anything with Luke Getsy?
I think he's gone for sure.
No, but here's an update 24 minutes ago. Hester and Peppers were named as finalists for this year.
I was gonna say I got the list, but I can't pull it up on the computer.
I mean, Julius Peppers deserves it too.
Yeah, I agree. I guess he'll go in as a Panther, wouldn't he?
Probably.
Actually, a Charger.
Oh, he's going as a Charger?
Just
Wait,
kidding.
Peppers is going as a Charger? Why would he go as a Charger?
Oh, the Panthers. No, Gates went.
I'm saying Antonio
Gates went. Yeah, but he went the Panthers. I was just busting your balls.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Peppers never played for the Chargers. He played for the Panthers, the Bears, the Packers, and the Panthers.
Eric Allen.
Oh yeah.
Jared Allen.
Oh yeah.
Dwight Freeney.
Yeah.
Rodney Harrison.
Damn.
And as you said, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt.
Wow. That's another one I should have been earlier.
Is he going as a punt returner or as a wide receiver?
Oh, Torrey Holt?
No.
Hester. Punt return. Special team. Call it. Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne. Patrick Willis. Darren Woodson. And that's all it says on my end. And then they said they got 10 semi-follow or that missed the cut. Antoine Bolden, London Fletcher, Eddie George, James Harrison, Robert Mathis, and Steve Smith, and Ricky Waters. And Hines Ward missed it.
Ricky Waters, Hines
there
Ward.
Too, but I can't. This is what Hester's third year in a row being a finalist.
Yeah. He's going to get it.
I mean, he should have been a first ballot. Let's be real. Yeah. What about Mongo? Is Mongo on the list for the old school?
He's not on this list that I pulled up. No, and this was 25 of them.
I don't think they show that list for the throwback, whatever they call it.
I know what you're talking about.
They have like the list you just read, and then you usually have like a coach or a writer, lifetime something, some other thing, and then they get the guys who went past their, original eligibility, and now they get looked at again. So Mongo, if he gets in, he has to go in under that. I can't remember what they call it off the top of my head. If anyone in the comments can remember, but it's I can't remember what they call it. It's like a legacy vote or something like that. But I mean, yeah, there's no reason for Hester not to be in the Hall. I think part of it just is they don't. It's because he's going in as a returner. But it's like, dude, change. I said this a couple ago when I thought he should have been a first ballot. A lot of people go, well, Mike Ditka changed what it meant to be a tight end. Yeah, he did, right? And he should be a Hall of Famer for it, and he is. Devin Hester completely changed what it meant to be a kick returner. He made the NFL change the rules on kick returning, making it right now like we have now, where they move the ball up. Now a touchback is 25 instead of 20. They tried in a weird way. The NFL tried to make it so kick returners don't kick return anymore, just punt return. But I mean, he completely changed games. I mean, look at the Arizona game. Look at the St. Louis Monday Night Football game. Devin Hester completely was the whole reason the Bears won 2 of those games.
Yep.
There's some other interesting names on that list, though. That's a pretty good list. It's really hard because like a lot of how many guys get in? Is it 5?
What's that?
5 guys get in, right?
I think so.
That's a good list. That's the thing that sucks. There's like 7 or 8. I mean, obviously they all could be in the hall, but that's a good list.
Yes.
Steve says Woody. BDM.
Bear down, Mike.
BDM.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Bear
That
down,
means me.
Mike.
Thank you, Steve.
Oh,
Is he just naming us?
I think so.
Seems like it.
well, at least he knows our names. That's very important.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to ask what I saw earlier. Now, this is just hypothetical. Let's say Justin's not here next season, right? Poles trades him for a second rounder. Would you make the trade for the number 1 pick for Justin Herbert?
I seen
Well,
that.
first, hi, Steve. Then to answer the question, would I trade the number 1 pick for Justin Herbert? No.
No?
Uh-uh.
Would he?
I might as well keep
I
Fields
wouldn't.
at that point.
No.
I might as well just keep Fields. Honestly.
Okay. That's something I heard, and it made a lot of sense. He's a young quarterback. We got the money. You know, that team's getting older, and they're cash strapped. They lost their coach.
I mean, I think the only reason you move on from Fields is if you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. Because
But that's
part
kind
of
of a sure thing. It's a 50-50 shot that he worked
right,
that
but that's
quarterback
part of your
worked out.
but that's part of your justification for getting rid of Fields is the contract situation, right? So if you want to draft Caleb Williams in some alternate reality, you're going to draft him because he looks on paper to be a great talent that you would say is as good or equal to Fields. But now I get 5 years of him cheap. Like whereas Fields, I'm gonna have to pay. Right? I'm gonna have to give an extension in a year or 2 at the most. So part of the equation for moving on from Fields would be the contract situation not being as team friendly as drafting someone number 1.
Yeah, but what are the Bears horrible at doing?
Drafting a quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, but wait,
You get a quarterback who's really good.
Yeah, but you know what though?
I don't know.
Has Poles been good at drafting?
Yes.
Well, yeah,
So
he's been good at drafting.
You can't use a narrative. If Poles has been good, okay, let me ask you this then, Mike. Would you say Poles has been an excellent judge of talent?
He's been what?
Would you say he's been an excellent judge of talent?
Yeah, I mean 2 misses out of how many though? I think that's pretty damn good.
Woody, what about you? Would you say Poles is a good judge of talent?
Absolutely. We'll find out in a year or 2, but I think so far he's doing a great job.
So, like with that in mind, Mike the Bear fan, what do you think about? Would you say he's an excellent judge of talent?
Yeah, I agree. The only one he kind of ruined in the first 3-4 rounds, I wouldn't say ruined, is Velus Jones, but he's hit or miss. That's the only one that would be on the bubble in my view.
Yeah, I would say Jones is like questionable, but being that he was a little bit of a later round, okay, you kind of expect that there. So I'll give him a half pass there. And then the Claypool trade's his biggest stinker. But look,
You
on
said
paper,
draft.
yeah. Well, I mean, judge of talent in general, though.
You
I
said
mean,
draft. Okay.
the only bad acquisition he made via trade so far was Claypool. And on paper, that looked like it was a good deal when we first saw it. So, but he knocked the ball in the park on Montez Sweat, right? So, and he's done really well with the linebacking core that he signed.
Yeah.
Oh, so Mongo is a finalist. Outstanding.
He's a senior finalist. I think this person said.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a special group, and
yeah, right there.
Special consideration. So with that in mind, I mean, if Poles says Fields is your guy, I'm trusting his judgment, and I think that's what Poles is at right now. I don't think with the numbers, everything we see. Here's a funny thing too. oh yeah, Field sucks. The Bears should draft a quarterback. And then you see the post later. If Fields got traded to Atlanta, they'd automatically be Super Bowl contenders. What? I mean, that's the other thing. I hate the dichotomy. On one hand, all these guys are saying, "Oh, the Bears need to draft Caleb because Fields this, that, and the other." Two posts later from the same news organization, be it CBS, Fox, whoever. Possible destinations for Fields. Yeah, if he went to Atlanta, they'd be Super Bowl contenders. What? Yeah, Steve, I got my quarterly haircut today. I feel human again.
Well, yeah, I heard the same thing. Falcons, Steelers.
Yeah.
Well, and to answer your coach nominee for the Hall of Fame class, it's Buddy Parker.
There you go. I have no idea who he is, but
Me neither.
Oh, good. Thank God. I didn't know. I'm too young, I guess.
Absolutely.
No, I didn't know him either.
Do you know who Mongo is?
I've heard the name.
All right.
He said I heard the name. 85 Bear, baby.
Damn, Woody, we can't even make one show without referencing his age.
Oh, he just brought up say he was young, so I thought I would have finished the sentence.
Crucify me.
All right.
I got to choose what year I was born.
Parker was.
He knows Steve McMichael is a wrestler in the NWO.
NWO.
Parker was actually with the
NWO,
Lions
yeah.
and the Browns.
What now, Mike?
I said he was with the Browns and the Lions.
Oh, that makes sense. They sucked back then.
1957, baby.
So let's talk about this really quick because Steve has Steve, who's I'm taking a Packers fan.
Yep.
Has this comment. Is it going to screw the Bears draft that Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't enter the draft? Woody?
Yep. Because I think if Marvin Harrison does not come out, we're trading Carolina's pick right off the bat to get more draft capital. Plain and simple.
I completely agree.
So I mean, I agree with that too. I think Marvin Harrison is a clear number one if the Bears have it. If Marvin Harrison, for some insanely stupid reason, decides not to go in the draft, which NIL, he'll make $24 million in NIL money, and he'll make twice as much of that in endorsements as a rookie going number one.
But is any of that guaranteed if he gets hurt in college?
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. You
Yeah,
get hurt in college.
He's going to bring his draft stock way down.
Yeah, now he's talking millions over how many years he's losing. So, but okay, to answer your question though, Steve, I agree with Woody. It affects the plan in so far as much as we don't pick number one. If Marvin Harrison Jr. stays in, I agree with Woody. We trade it, but then again, is that necessarily a bad thing? Because what we're going to trade it for? Well, whoever we trade it to, we're going to get their number one this year, their number one next year. Probably some player that we are like, oh my God, we can't believe we got that. Like another DJ Moore situation with Carolina. I mean, it'd just be Carolina situation, take two. Maybe it's not as an impact of a player as DJ Moore. Like I've seen the scenarios where we trade him to the Raiders and we get Max Crosby. That's not going to happen. But yeah, we could pray. And then we'd have the Raiders number one pick for this year and next year. Okay. You know what I mean? I think that's what would happen, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. We trade back that number one pick if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't come out. I think we trade it up and go get that kid from LSU who's ranked second.
There's some other good receivers out there. We don't have to, Harrison Jr. is probably the only receiver that'd go top three. There's a couple other receivers you can snag in the first round and still have a really good receiver. Because what's his name? The kid from Minnesota. He went mid first round last year? No, a little further back than that. Addison, where'd Addison go? 18, 20, somewhere around there. Jefferson was a late.
Minnesota.
Jefferson was a late first round pick. So I mean, you can get a complete game changer wide receiver, middle to late first round still anyway. So Harrison Jr. seems to be one of those wide receiver talents that makes you that you swing big on, kind of like how Bijan was that kind of running back last year coming out in the draft. I mean, I think that's all that would really change there. So, and then our second pick right now, currently, as we sit, I think we're at 7 or 8.
8.
8 with 6 wins. So that number could get worse depending if we get the homer situation and we make the playoffs. It definitely gets worse. So that comes to the next question. Do you want this team to make the playoffs, or do you just say, I want the draft pick?
If Carolina say if they lose out, I wouldn't care.
I believe they only got to lose one because the Patriots won.
The only guys,
I'm not mistaken, right?
The only
Right
guys,
now,
here, I'll go
they're
look
one
right now.
game. There's Arizona's at 3 wins. Are the Pats at 3 wins?
No, they're at 4.
Yeah.
They're at 4.
Yeah, it's
So
Cardinals at number 2 pick.
The Chargers are at 5.
yeah,
The
so
Titans 5.
Carolina with 2 wins can win 1, but I don't know who has a tie break between them and Arizona for the
The
worst.
Commanders are at 4. The Cardinals are at 3. And the Panthers at 2. So as long as the Cardinals win. and
Yeah,
the
as long as the
Panthers
Cardinals win
lose,
another game, Carolina can win another game.
Yep. I believe it's
look
just them and the Cardinals.
I mean, if the Bears get into the playoffs, if that were to happen, and we have the number 1 pick, I'm kind of like with Woody. God, I'm agreeing with Woody way too freaking much today.
Which I'm smart. I'm smart.
I
I'm very
wouldn't
fucking
care
smart.
as much because if you get in the playoffs, I mean, we look at this team and say, oh, but is this team really going to win the Super Bowl? I don't know. Did the New York Giants fans think the 7-9 Giants win a Super Bowl? They did. So, once you get into the second season, it's a whole new season.
Yep. It's usually the hottest team going in.
Yep.
If we make it to the playoffs, Flus and Getsy are staying.
That's the reason why I would want to lose.
That's the thing.
Definitely.
Since you just said that, we're not making playoffs.
So here's is there maybe another level to the Getsy offense we just haven't seen yet, and that's
No.
why he's still here?
No.
Were they waiting 3 years?
Hey, I'm just trying
You
to
can't
I'm
fire the
spitballing
DC
here.
and the OC at the same year. I mean,
I'm just spitballing here to see if I can justify it. I mean, come on, man. Just work with me. Work with me. I'm spitballing here. It's
Look, if we can go into Green Bay and ruin their chances in the playoffs, that's good enough for me.
yeah. What are their chances right now? They're still they're in the hunt.
they're in the hunt just like us. They only
Yeah.
got us by a game.
I mean,
think
it's just silly to me that we are actually in the hunt.
Yeah, we're
considering
6 and
where this
9.
team was in week 7.
Yeah, we're 6 and 9.
Considering how we were talking in week, but hey, Mike, consider how we were talking in week 7, though, right, man? I mean, week 4, 5, 6, 7, we're thinking the draft is gonna go 1, 2, right? We're in the first 2 picks, and now here we are towards the end of the season. Playoffs?
Yeah, at week 4 when we lost, do you think we would be talking about playoffs at this time? No.
I mean, granted, it's a long shot.
A
It's
long
shot.
shot.
We need help. They need help.
You
That's
know
A
why.
lot of help, not just a little,
It
a
wouldn't-
lot.
It wouldn't be a long shot if we would have won the games we were leading at late in the
Yeah.
games, 3 of them.
With you.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Well,
Great.
we
We
let
would've
3
won
games
4
we
in a
should have
row.
won that we
Yeah,
lost,
we-
right? Denver.
We'd be at 9 and 6,
Detroit.
and Detroit hasn't taken the division yet.
Right.
I mean, think of this: Cleveland, Detroit, Denver. 3
Denver.
games we should have won. Denver would be out of the playoff hunt right now. Detroit would not have clinched yet. And the Devils probably just scored a goal.
Yep. And speaking
Absolutely.
of Denver, how about them benching Russ and could be cutting ties with them at the end of the year? What is it?
Payne is done with
$8
him.
million guaranteed?
He
Payton
hasn't,
is
I mean,
done with him.
Russ hasn't looked terrible, but he hasn't. That magic hasn't been there.
What was it? Did he earn that sit the bench and we're done with you?
He did have more picks in the last 2 years than he had most of his time in Seattle.
Well, him being benched, we all know he's getting traded.
Yeah, but who's
They
going to
want him
take
to
him?
get hurt.
He's
Texans
thrown,
or not Texans? Tennessee.
he's thrown 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions.
It's really not bad.
No, not terrible. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was. He did a job to be like, hey, we're done with you. Like, he didn't ruin anything. He's been playing pretty decent.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the year, he was a top quarterback.
What team could he go to? They were talking about Tennessee.
Atlanta.
Washington.
Yeah.
Washington. He's from that area.
I don't know, but I want to know who's going to go to San Francisco because I'm telling you, I said it last week, beginning of the year, Purdy is not the answer. 4 interceptions last game.
They're just going to draft another quarterback in the 7th round, and that guy's going to be the next it guy.
The Trey Lance thing did not work out, obviously, but
they got Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Jesus.
If you're San Francisco, if you're San Francisco and you're in your window, do you maybe go after Russ?
No, can't afford him.
Unless
they're not even going to be able to sign Chase Young.
Right,
unless
they can't
dump
sign
some
both
guys.
of them. Because Russell Wilson's not going to get a cheap contract to stay somewhere. He's a contender. No way.
Well, he's already getting his guaranteed, so he can go sign somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
He's already getting his guarantee.
He could do it. He could do what I call a Jim Edmonds deal. Jim Edmonds, when he played for the Cardinals, signed a big contract. The Cardinals then traded him to San Diego, but retained like 3/4 of the contract, right? San Diego then signs him to an extension to pay him even more money. Then they cut him a year later. So at this point, he's been cut. The Cubs signed him for the league minimum, $300,000, but he's making over $10 million. He's making big money because St. Louis and San Diego are paying him. Russ could be like, well, look, I'm getting all this guaranteed money from Denver, so I don't need to sign as big of a contract to go to San Francisco.
Well, this is the thing with Denver. If they just cut him, you know what the dead cap for them in 2024? $85 million.
How much?
$85 million.
That's
what I'm saying. Most of his contract was pretty much guaranteed, and you're just going to be like, oh, we're just going to cut ties with it. For that kind of money, you're just going to step away. You're paying the man you're playing. Might look at a different option, like maybe look for another quarterback, but why just let him go? Cut him loose. I don't get it.
I mean, because if you cut him loose, a team like San Francisco, who might be strapped for cash, but they're a good team that could win a Super Bowl, Russ could be like, league minimum? Seems like I got like all this $86 million guaranteed from Denver. Yeah, why not? He could do it.
I don't think he's gonna do minimum though. He'll do like 10.
But you and I know. But you know what I mean though. You could do a sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
They could trade him and pay like half his contract, and then the other team pays the other half. They could do that.
Yeah, he's a hard contract to move unless you're quarterback hungry.
Yeah.
And Tennessee's one of them. Who else is quarterback hungry?
Is Tennessee one of them?
Tennessee's quarterback hungry. They got Levis.
Are they? Let's think about that one.
You really think Tannehill's going to be there next year?
Well, they got Levis. They drafted Levis.
He doesn't look that good.
Levis has been playing really good for them. Just went and beat Indiana. Levis just went to Miami and beat Miami 2 weeks ago. I think Levis is their guy going forward. They're not drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, but wait until there's more tape on the kid.
That's always the case, but I think they're feeling that Levis could be their guy right now. So I don't think they're in the quarterback hungry club. I think Washington is. I think definitely Atlanta is because Ritter's not the answer there.
Yep, Atlanta.
The
Bucks if they're not
Giants. What about the Giants? You don't think Dayball could?
No, they gave Danny Dimes all that money.
Yeah, it depends how much.
Next year.
It depends how much it costs them to get rid of Danny Dimes.
Yeah, I can look.
$45 million a year.
Yeah, but what was the guarantee on that? I think Tampa's not in that group. I think they're sticking with.
I think they're going to sign Baker.
Yeah, they're
Longer.
going to stick with Baker. And Baker, they should. Baker's a good quarterback.
He's solid.
No, they won't either, because if they cut him in 2024, it's 69.3 mil. I don't see that happen until possibly 2025 when it reaches 2022, but it's more better at 2026 at 11.
Oh, we forgot an obvious one. We've got an obvious one within our own division. Minnesota has no quarterback at the end of this year.
I think Cousins takes a pay cut. Yeah. That's what I think. He's going to stay. We'll see.
But he already offered to take a pay cut in the beginning of the year, and they said no.
Yeah. Different story when you ain't got no money.
But I mean, Minnesota right now, until they can, then why not re-sign him now? He's not, they can negotiate the contract, sign him now while he's in rehab. They're not doing it. I think, and look, if Sarah were on right now, she'd be yelling at you, Mike, because Sarah hates him with a pat. Well, doesn't hate him, but
she doesn't hate him. She doesn't want. She wants a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, she wants him gone. I think a lot of Minnesota, Mike. I agree with you. A lot of Minnesota fans want a mobile quarterback. They don't want a Kirk Cousins. So does Russ fit that bill?
He's mobile-ish. He's not like the younger Russ, but
yeah, Steve. We said the Niners too, but that would be contingent on probably where in order for him to go to the Niners, it'd be when they'd have to cut him, and so he could do like What happened, Woody?
Oh, we seen the comment.
Luke.
Somebody brought him up.
Luke. Listen, I said before too. I see Kirk Cousins taking a pay cut to keep those players there because Vikings are in cap hell.
Right, and plus he's got Jefferson, Addison. I mean, he's got some weapons. Yeah,
right. Osborne's coming around. Hawkinson. Yeah.
And
what if like Tennessee offered Kirk a lot of money?
I don't see it.
That's what I'm saying.
They could offer more than what Minnesota can.
They got to get more weapons.
You haven't locked him up yet. He offered for you to lock him up before the season start. You said no. He tears the Achilles, and you still haven't tried to lock him up, even though no one on your current roster is your answer point for this year, let alone next year. And there are some other teams who would be willing to take a chance on him, who probably have a better offensive line than you do, like Tennessee, that could be possible suitors. So why, if you're Minnesota, if they want him, they should lock him up already. I think Minnesota is looking for something completely different. They could be a team that you trade with in a draft and maybe want a Caleb Williams.
I don't know. I think
they stick with Murray.
They're going to stick with Murray. They already said they're going to stick with Murray, and that's a problem. If you don't pick Marvin Harrison Jr., he's not getting past Arizona. So definitely. Marvin Harrison knows he's going to be a top 3 pick right now.
Yeah, Kyler's owed too much money, and they need more than just a quarterback. They need a lot more.
Yeah,
they need more weapons.
Look at Murray. They gave a shit ton of money to Murray too. You can't. They're kind of stuck with Murray. They gave him a ton of money.
Yeah.
So, who would be interested in Kyler Murray? He's got a lot of injuries. He gets paid a lot of money. Like, he doesn't really work out anywhere.
I don't think it's all on Kyler Murray, though. I think Kyler Murray's had – because you can see the difference he makes in that Cardinals team when he plays versus when he doesn't. He's positive. He's a positive for that team. I just think he's dealt with bad coaching, head coaches, offensive coordinators, injuries galore. Not just him, but Hollywood is a great receiver. Hurt again. His weapons are getting pummeled. I mean, so I don't disagree with Arizona staying with Kyler Murray. So I wouldn't add them to the quarterback list, but I would say right now the list is probably Atlanta. Heck, there's rumors that Seattle isn't happy with Geno after giving Geno the big contract.
No, not in the cold wind. He's too small. He's going to get murdered in Chicago.
No.
Yeah. And yeah, Butters there. Yeah. Arizona stuck with Murray for 1 year, so a quarterback is probably, yeah. I mean, they might get a quarterback third, fourth round maybe, but I don't think they're.
I don't know. Even though they're stuck on Murray, dude, I think they're picking a quarterback. I really do. First pick.
In the first round?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just watch. I'm usually right 98% of the time.
Unless it's that last minute field goal kick.
No, the other 2% I'm sleeping.
How many picks? Arizona has multiple first rounders this year too, don't they?
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins trade.
So I mean, they're gonna get Tennessee's pick. So yeah, maybe they get someone mid to late.
As long as it's not Bo Nix, because he's going to be a Bear. Which one would he? Which one? Which one you asking? Which quarterback? Is that what he's asking?
I have no idea. I think so.
It depends on, what New
Honestly,
England
they
does.
take Drake May.
What New England? Oh God! As long as it's not us talking about May.
I think they would take. I think they're going to go for
just scored a goal.
He said yes, quarterback.
Depends where they're picking. I'm thinking, damn, can I see May in Arizona
to learn behind Kyler?
I think
I'm
going to butcher your name. With
the number 2 pick, you start him. That's the problem.
I think Rajneesh, I'm probably butchering the name. I'm sorry if I am. Is on because look, if the Bears take Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1, I agree with this. I think they trade that number 2 pick for a haul to a quarterback needy team.
New England.
If Arizona? Yeah. If Arizona's at number 2 and the Bears take Marvin Harrison Jr., they're going to make a trade with a quarterback hungry team like in Atlanta or maybe even like a Minnesota. Dude, think about it. If you're Minnesota, I'll trade her away my first rounder this year, next year, no problem, because I can take Caleb Williams, who's cheap, solves my quarterback issue by buy Kirk Cousins, and Minnesota fans are tell me Minnesota fans would not be jumping up and down for joy if they got Caleb Williams number 2 in the draft. And who cares if they gave away this year's first round and next year's first round for them? Because they're thinking we don't need it.
You know who could be in for that too, though? Washington.
For the
haul, throw in your first pick and maybe Scary Terry for that 2 pick.
I don't think they'd be willing to give up Scary Terry, but yeah, I see what you're saying though. They'd have some competition, but I think this comment right here, I'm going to throw it back up, and I think this is one of the better takes we've seen in a comment in a little bit of a while. I think that if the Bears take Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1, I totally see that happening.
It'll remind me of what we did to get Mitch Trubinsky with San Francisco.
He's not looking too good over there in Steeler land.
Yeah.
It's sad, really. It's sad.
Oh, yeah, we ruined him.
But I could see, and not because I said all year because I like the guy, I could see Bo Nix coming up through the draft pretty good, even though he's up there in age. I could see him moving up pretty damn quickly.
There's another team. New York might want to trade up. The Giants may want to trade up to get a quarterback. Keep Danny to the end of his contract, or when you can, that dead cap is a lot lower.
No, I mean that's not. I mean, that's actually not bad. But I mean, I think though here's the problem though you face with that. If you're a fan of Team X, whatever team it is, and you're sending a ton of draft capital to draft a quarterback 1, 2, or 3, you expect that quarterback to play week 1. You don't expect him to be on the bench behind Danny Dimes or anyone else for that matter. I think the only way you get away with drafting a quarterback in the first round and them not having to automatically start is if you draft them outside of the top 10. And even then, anywhere from 11 to 20, you're still going to have pressure for them to play that year. But if you draft them towards the back end of the first round, a la Jordan Love, the pressure isn't there to start them right away from the fan base. But if you're the Giants and you're going to give up this year's, next year's, and a player, they're going to want that guy to start right away. And Danny Dimes, they might as well cut him.
Yeah, I called that too at Vrabel, probably going to New England.
Yeah, if I can see that too if he's done. If Belichick is in fact done, I could see that happening.
It's Timo time.
Did you say Timo?
Timo Meyer, overtime winning goal for the.
That's kid. Bedard just put one in for the Blackhawks a few minutes ago, so
it's all right.
That kid's awesome.
Even his son,
Connor Bedard, yeah.
All right, and I'd also like to say there's only a couple weeks left, and Woody has a little cushion. He is technically 9-6. I didn't update it, but all of us won this week. So you're a game behind, or Dan's a game behind you, and we're 2 behind. I'm catching you, Woody. Mark my words.
Hey, if the Bears can do it, so can I.
Good luck.
That's right. Better chance, too.
You guys got to stop being fucking homers and pick the game. Be realistic.
We do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we're going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm being realistic now.
Playoffs?
We can't go to playoffs because if we go to playoffs, we're not getting Caleb Williams first round. We're not.
We'll have.
How you doing there, Brent? Good to see you.
It's not fucking happening.
We didn't say this yet, but congrats to the Detroit Lions for doing something they haven't done since Bear Down Mike was a toddler, and that's win a division.
How old were you in 91 there, Mike?
93.
93?
93.
I believe it was 93.
I thought it was 91.
That was the last win in the playoffs.
Oh.
7 or 8, something like that.
Oh, so you just had hair on it. All right, that's good. You're old enough. We're good.
Yeah, I was born in 86.
So congrats to the Lions on winning their first division ever as the NFC North. The last time they won a division, it was the Central, and Tampa was still in
Bay.
It. Yeah, Mike, you don't know about that smoke.
Yeah, Tampa Bay was in the Central Division. It's good. We'll get you there.
That was a bet. Great. Every year you had at least one trip to Florida. It was great. So
of course you have to bring that up.
Yeah, I told Russ and Mike to enjoy the moment because it won't last long.
No, they'll screw it up.
They got 200 and something days to pump their chest out, though.
Yeah.
Well,
let them pump their chest.
Don't look past the Cowgirls this week because you're going into playoffs. Don't do it.
How many of us think they're going to get bounced the first chance?
You got to think who they're playing against. You know,
if they play the Rams, that's going to be interesting.
Well, no, here's a scary. Rams been playing good. Talk about weird things that could happen. Look, Philly hasn't been playing that well. Now, Philly, I think they have a little bit of a. They have a tough. Who's Philly got their last 2?
Giants and Cardinals.
Giants and
they play Cardinals this week and Giants last.
Yeah, Woody follows.
And we need them to win, right?
Go fuck yourself.
So, but right now the Lions are in the hunt for the top seed.
Fucking people.
I like this. Yeah, I mean, the Rams are interesting. If the Rams get in, they'll be a hot team. Yeah. Could you imagine a Lions-Rams game at Ford Field? Matt Stafford goes into Detroit and beats the Lions.
And carves them up.
I know, I can't.
That'd be terrific.
Yeah, but the Sheagles, they play the Cardinals this week, and they got the Giants last week. So they're most likely, going to win that division, I hate to say. But thank you, Steve. But San Fran, they still own their own destiny. They got to win out to win the conference, the bye week. So
I don't know if any of us can route the Lions in the playoffs.
You know what he
I
meant.
think he meant root for the Lions if you're
Yeah,
going to
root.
cheer. Okay, so if the Bears are not in the playoffs, will we as Bears fans cheer for the Lions in the playoffs?
I'm just sick and tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes in it every fucking year.
He's been frustrated the last couple weeks, boy.
Yeah,
Frustrated.
Travis Kelce getting pissed on
I
the side
guarantee
throwing his
him
helmet.
he'll be playing a
That
lot
was
better if he
hilarious.
was with
And they
Taylor
need wide
Swift.
receiver help bad. Like, who they got? MVS? I mean,
No, I don't. Yeah,
They got
no, MVS
Harkin
is up
back.
there.
I'm pretty sure MVS is there.
Hey, this will be the
Yeah,
first
he's there.
time
Never
that
mind.
Patrick
They
Mahomes is not
sat
going on the
Kadarius
road.
Toney.
This is going to be the first time Mahomes is have to go on the road for a playoff game.
That's what you
They've
get for
always
having
hosted.
Nagy calling plays too.
Like I just said, if he was with Taylor Swift, he'd be playing a lot of fucking hell better. I tell you. Shake it off, and maybe they're losing. This is what I thought about too.
It's
Maybe Kansas City's losing because Mahomes' brother isn't dancing on the press box or on the sidelines. There you go.
There's one Bears fan telling you no, Brent. They went before I get to Steve's comment there, and that's a good question there.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. But I mean, look at
No, he ain't going nowhere.
I'll cheer for the Lions depending on who they're playing. Now, if they're playing the Vikings in the first round, I'd rather have the Lions win a playoff game than the Vikings, just because Vikings fans are a little bit more annoying sometimes.
Dumbass.
But, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of supports some of the argument, though, I made early about Mahomes, is that Mahomes came into a phenomenal situation with a phenomenal team around him, great coaching, and now what's happened? Well, the phenomenal players are leaving that he had around him. The head coach is still there, but Matt Nagy's your OC.
They're missing the enemy. I can tell you that.
And now, who was it who was it who said if you take the magic away from him, he's done? Well, the magic is leaving Mahomes. You're seeing it. We've been seeing it all year. Mahomes is an average, better than average quarterback with an average to better average team. He's not end of the world like he was. I mean, that was a lot because when you had Tyreek and you had these
when they hammered us, that loss is looking a lot worse now than it did back then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think Mahomes will say, "Trade me to the Bears."
Yeah, right.
Holy fuck.
Nah, no.
No.
Now when he keeps putting his fingers up, how many touchdowns he threw against us? 1, 2. See, you could have had me.
I don't think the Bears are moving on from Fields. I mean, what would it take for the Bears to move on from Fields? Let's ask that question.
Multiple picks, one being a first rounder.
Or a player.
Yeah.
Because look what happened to Moore.
Another mobile quarterback.
I mean, but then who are your trading partners then in that case?
Raiders.
I mean, I can get multiple picks for the number one pick anyway. So
would you take like a second round in like Hunter Renfrow for Justin Fields?
No.
I take Max Crosby in a second.
Yeah, that'd be a deal.
Then all the quarterback has to be is good if we had Max Crosby on the other side, because defense will be winning our games.
Oh yeah, well, our entire payroll would be on defense almost.
Yep.
Between Sweat
shit.
I mean,
we'll give you Eddie Jackson too. Just throw him right in there.
Throw him right in there.
Fucking douchebag he is. Can't tackle. What the hell? Thank you.
No, we're just spitballing here.
Yeah, we're
I like
spitballing.
Bo Nix, baby.
I really think it'd have to be a generational quarterback to get Fields out of Chicago. I think he's shown enough to Poles, and we can all see that he could be Lamar 2.0, if you will. You can't tackle the dude. You just can't tackle Fields. He escapes. We know he's got an arm. He showcases that he can do things. I think the situation in Chicago for him has been terrible overall.
Yeah. When he got here, it was a terrible position. Terrible.
So I mean, and if we can see it, it'd be stupid for us to think Ryan Poles doesn't see that and realizes he's got a super talented quarterback on his hands. Now they see stuff that we don't, right? Some of the behind the scenes stuff. But I've seen nothing that we have seen in the public that would suggest to me Fields is someone, there's anyone out there better than him in the draft. I mean, I just don't see it.
Who's that?
No, I'm just saying I don't see anyone in the draft better than Fields.
I see a lot of problems like with Justin. I see a lot in Caleb Williams.
Oh God.
Well, and Caleb seems like a basket case. He's like Cam Newton, but the emo version.
It seems like Caleb Williams, he can't win the big game either.
No.
You see that? Oh my God.
And what's our fear? Justin will go to another team and he becomes an MVP player.
Yeah, like Sam Mustafa.
And I think though, but see, you know what? No, Mike, I think you bring like Sam Mustafa. You know what? But you know what? Mustafa, yeah, there's. But you know,
Charles Leno. Hey, Charles Leno Jr. When he went to Washington, what happened? He went to the Pro Bowl.
Fifth grade went.
But
you know what though?
He just became a bigger speed bump.
We were looking to get rid of Trubisky. We didn't think that he'd go somewhere and blow it up. But with Fields, people are like, well, you can go to Atlanta and do really well there. If he went there, so that's a difference. That's a big tell to me. I think when we were looking to get rid of Trubisky, no one thought Trubisky would go anywhere and do anything, and he really hasn't. But with Fields, the feeling kind of is, well, if the Bears move on, he's going to be good somewhere else, like really good. So we know we've got something. It's just now can we use them? To me, that's the biggest difference I see between.
Yeah, he goes to the Falcons. That's a weaker division with a chance to win it every year.
He would. I think it comes down. He would do really well there, but why can't he do really well in Chicago then? Why can't the division, I get that, but why can't he do really well in this division versus being in Atlanta? I mean,
it has to be coaching.
Because we run a mom and pop shop.
It has to be coaching. No, Woody's right.
Yep. Yeah, I'm agreeing. It starts with the owners and it trickles all the way down.
I'm interested in seeing what Warren, who he's going to bring in, because he says I'm going to bring in my own people. So when Getsky's gone, we'll see.
So, I mean, that's a good question. So you think he's going to bring in his own people without talking to Poles and Eberflus? Like he's just going to be, you're my guys.
Hey, he doesn't really have to.
No.
This is how it's going to go.
Yeah. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to tell Poles, either you're with me or you're going to get
it's not a popularity contest. He's going to see who fits best.
I don't think I would say it that way, but what you guys are saying is probably the reality. If I'm him, I go, look, Poles, when it comes to player acquisition, you're phenomenal. Obviously, with OCDCs, okay, and hey, Eberflus, nah, man, defense, I know coaching. So, hey, guys, when you're both good at what you respectively do, this is my thing, and I'm going to go pick out the OC, and you're going to work with them. I think that's more of the approach because he's going to – because, look, Poles, player acquisition, talent acquisition, he's been phenomenal. But he is the guy who hired Eberflus, who, let's be honest, isn't terrible, but he's not exactly blowing the doors off either. Because along with Eberflus came the decision to bring in Getsy. So that's on both of them. So I think that's where Miller says, look, player acquisition, not your, coach acquisition may not be your thing. Let me do that. And sell it as, I'm going to take this off your plate and give you the tools you need to succeed. And now Eberflus, if you can't succeed with this OC, You're the problem. You're gone. Poles, you just keep giving me the players I need, the coaches I need. I think that's really how the situation in Chicago kind of is right now.
Yep. We'll see.
Okay.
There you go. Did you guys really like Jim McMahon?
Come on,
They need that
Mike.
type of QB.
Let's
Mike
bear down
wasn't
Mike
there.
answer this first.
I didn't think Jim McMahon was that good.
He was a hell of a player with one eye, I'll tell you that.
I don't think he was that good.
You don't think he was that good? So when you were in
No.
your mother's womb, you didn't think he played good, or what?
No, you know what? I saw old clips. I saw the beginning. I watched it. I watched the season. I don't think he was that good.
But did you know he had one eye? He was
No, I did not know that.
Legally blind in one eye, yes.
That's why he forgot
Wasn't
to
he
hand
the
it off
Offensive
to.
Player of the
He
Year?
forgot to hand it off to
Yeah.
Peyton in the Super Bowl. He handed it off to Fridge because he was blind in one eye.
Do you know how he got blind in that one eye? You need to do some Googling, bear down Mike. It has to do with a fork, I'll tell you that.
Fork.
Okay.
I'm gonna look that up.
You didn't know that either, Woody?
No, I thought he was slammed up against the ground against what's his
No.
name?
No, I remember that
Harris.
story.
See, you
No,
do
when he was
that?
a kid, he had a fork in the eye.
Yep.
So okay, well, look, he was the 5th overall pick in the '82 draft. Let me see.
Well,
All
no,
right.
I know he went to Michael Jackson's favorite college, Brigham Young.
Oh my god.
I mean, look at okay, his highlights. He won 2 Super Bowls, right? 20 and 31.
With the Bears and with
the Packers, and he wore a Bears jersey to the White House when he went there with the Packers.
Yep.
Just for that alone, that answers your question. Yes, I really like Jim McMahon, but look, his career numbers weren't bad. I mean, they plummeted after that hit from Green Bay that plays over someone a body slam because he hurt his shoulder on that play, never fully recovered. But look at 58% pass completion, 100 TDs and 90 interceptions, 18,000 passing yards. Passer rating was 78.2 for a career, 16 rushing touchdowns with over 1,600 yards rushing. I mean, that 85 team, if I wish I could just break the numbers, but that 85 team, man, he was tough, man. And like, he was that kind of quarterback that his numbers were actually good because he could throw to Willie Gault, who was the fastest man on the planet at the time.
Willie Gault?
NFL. But he was a tough quarterback. He would take hits, and he was a character, too. That team was always loose and ready to go. So I would love that. I'd love another McMahon. McMahon was awesome.
Awesome. Mike, you should know. No,
What?
absolutely not. Tell him to go back.
Josh McDaniels? God, no.
No way.
No. Give me the guy that was in Buffalo first. Ken Dorsey.
I get why Butters is
take that guy
asking this.
before I take Josh McDaniels.
Whoa.
Well, no, I get why Butters is asking this though, because what did Josh McDaniels do as the OC when he was in New England, win Super Bowls?
Well, you had Belichick too, and Brady.
But I can understand why he asked that though. That's not.
We have enough problems being Bear fans. We don't need that guy being here.
I actually think he'll be back in New England if Belichick doesn't retire anyway.
I don't think so. And the answer to the question before, Andy Reid's not going anywhere either. He doesn't go out on the bottom. So, no way. Nope.
All right.
All right.
Well, guys, it's getting late. I'm about to get off of here.
Yeah, I'm about to call it right now, Mike. So, thank you, everyone. Mike, Woody, hope you feel better.
Thank
Get
you.
better, Woody. Drink a soda.
Thank you guys for your comments and some of the back and forth we had tonight. Don't forget, every weekday at 10 a.m. Central. What time is that in the East Coast there, Woody?
Oh, fuck you. 11.
Yeah, there's NFC North main event football talk with main event Mike and Russell. And then, of course, next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Central. I believe that's 8:30 for those East Coast people. We'll be right back here doing this show. And this Sunday, like every other game day, at 11:30 Central, that's 12:30 in the afternoon for you Eastern folk people. We'll do pregame for the Bears, and we'll do our predictions.
What are we overseas? What are we overseas here playing football in the mornings? Come on. 12:30.
Games I don't know. For us, the game's at noon. It's not in the morning.
12:30.
Those West Coasters, it's in the morning. Anyways, we'll be doing pregame 11:30 a.m. Central, and then we'll roll into the game itself on a different feed, but we'll have it as we go this week against the Atlanta Falcons. But for Mike, Woody, and myself, and the rest of the Bear Down Nation, bear down. Have a great week. We'll see you Sunday.
Bear down.
Bear down.